if Joy wanted her to come see her, she'd knock on the apartment door and she'd be like, "Can you come see me? Have some tea?" What's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking on my video today. I truly appreciate it. My name is Keisha Jackson and guess what today is? It's True Crime Tuesday. Yeah. It is Tuesday, which means it's True Crime Tuesday, and if you are new here, let me explain to you how it goes. Most Tuesdays, I wanted to say every Tuesday, but that's a lie. Most Tuesdays I sit down and I tell you a true South African crime and I do my makeup at the same time. If you like it, give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button because it truly helps me move up in the YouTube world. I haven't sat down and done a True Crime Tuesday in quite some time because it really started to work on my mental state. But yo, doing this every single Tuesday, it was like making my anxiety shoot through the roof. Last time I sat down, I did the story about Henry van Breda. And this week's going to be quite a juicy one. Before I get into it, I just want to let you know that this is a two-part story. So this is part one of the Krugersdorp killing. Before I get into this video, I am going to put my disclaimer out, so get ready for it. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about scenes that are very violent and very graphic. If you are a sensitive viewer, please give this one a skip. This is not for sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Let's get right into it. It's a very long story. It's got a lot of details in it. So, that's why I'm going to do it in two parts. And I missed it so much. So let's get straight into it. I'm going to start off with Cecilia Steyn. And for those of you that have heard about this story, you obviously know who Cecilia Steyn is. There isn't a lot of information about her young life, if I can say that. She was born in 1980 in Harrismith. She does have siblings. Like I said, there's not a lot of information about her siblings, and it's reported that she had dropped out of school when she was 15 years old because she had gotten into some trouble with smoking and drinking and skipping school. And it was also alleged that Cecilia's father was very tough on her and he could be abusive at times. This led Cecilia to leave the house and get married to a police officer, and she would go on to have 2 children with this police officer. Now there's a lot of moving parts to the story, so I'm starting off with Cecilia because, well, you'll find out why I'm starting off with her, but there's more than one character in this. Now, in 2012, Cecilia had presided in Krugersdorp, and her husband were still married, but they were living separate lives, and she could see her children as much as she wanted. They could come and go, and it was a very positive situation. He also described her as a really great friend and a really good mother. So there was no toxicity between the two. In 2012, Cecilia had joined a Christian group called the Overcomers Through Christ. This is where she would go on to meet her very close friends that stayed in the same apartment block as she did. Her next door neighbor was Marinda Steyn, and Marinda stayed with her 2 kids, Marcel, who was the daughter, and LaRue, who was her son. She also met a man and a woman by the name of Zach and Michaela Valentine in the group Overcomers Through Christ. Not long after joining the group and meeting her friends, her and the founder of Overcomers Through Christ, a lady by the name of Ria Groenewald, had a little bit of a spat. They had a little bit of a falling out. I read a lot of things, and it seemed to me that the falling out was about different sort of beliefs and how things should be run, and, you know, power struggles, bro. Anyway, this led Cecilia to leave Overcomers Through Christ, and along with Cecilia leaving, so did Miranda, so did Zach, so did Michaela. They then decided to start their own little Christian, I say Christian because it wasn't really great vibe, if I can say that. They started their own little group called Electus per Deus. I don't know how to pronounce it. And they were fighting against satanistic beings and Satanism and just satanistic behavior. Now, because things were so sour between Cecilia and Ria, Cecilia was like, she's not gonna get away with this. Allegedly, she was like, we're gonna hoy now. So July of 2012, the Electus per Deus, whatever, Cecilia and her group decided that they're gonna construct some homemade bombs, and they're gonna place it under the cars of the members of the Overcomers Through Christ while they were having their little meetings and get-togethers. Unfortunately for Cecilia and them, but fortunately for the community of Overcomers Through Christ, Cecilia and her group were almost spotted and they fled the scene before any explosives could have been ignited. Later that month, the group did not stop. They did in fact set a church alight, which caused damage to the windows and just an uproar in the community. The church was called the Lighthouse Christian Center, and that is in Randburg. When people got onto the scene, and obviously Ria, the boss of the bosses, saw this, there was a note left by Cecilia that said, and I quote, "Ria, who is going to protect you now?" Question mark. Quote. Following into the month of July, threatening SMSs were sent to members of the Overcomers Through Christ, and it just didn't sit well with anyone until things got taken way too far. On the 26th of July of 2012, a lady by the name of Natasha Berger had arrived at her home. There was a written note for Natasha by her neighbor named Joy that had said, "When you get home from work, please come and see me." Now, Natasha was obviously worried by this note because nothing has ever been done like this. I mean, if Joy wanted her to come see her, she'd knock on the apartment door and she'd be like, "Can you come see me? Have some tea?" But no, there was this note. So obviously Natasha runs over to Joy, and this is where she finds Miranda and Zach inside of Joy's flat. And Miranda and Zach proceed to stab both Natasha and Joy to death. Now, it's alleged that the reason they had did this was because Cecilia accused Natasha of praying a danger prayer which had killed various children. This is all an accusation, mind you. No one could prove that Natasha had did this. The only reason as well that Cecilia accused her of doing this is because she was a very active member of the overcomers through Christ. So Cecilia had some serious issues with this group, and I think just in general, she had some serious issues. Can I just add that how silly could you be to believe an accusation made by someone else? Or how manipulated, if I could say that, must you be by somebody to believe an accusation like that and then take such drastic action as well? You never know if this is the truth or not. And if I'm being real, I don't know at this point what the police were doing, if an investigation was open. There was nothing like that in the stories I had read. So at this point, I think it was just like deemed a hate crime or a home invasion or something like that. On August 13th of 2011, a man by the name of Reginald Bendixson, a semi-retired pastor and very good friend of Ria Groenewald. Ria actually stated that Reginald was her mentor. Okay, so we all know where this is going, right? He was just chilling at home one evening, doing what pastors do, and Zach and Miranda disguised themselves as police officers, snuck into his home, and proceeded to stab him to death for absolutely no reason except for association to Ria Groenewald. They actually struck him multiple times with a hand axe. So now remember I mentioned Zach's wife, Michaela? She was not loving this. She was like, this seems a little bit more hectic than what I expected a Christian group to be involved in. And at this point, Michaela mentioned to her husband Zach that she wanted out. She didn't want to be a part of this. And this is when Zach was like, well, now you're kind of like a liability to us. It's not gonna work if you don't want to do it with us. So of course Michaela's like cacking in her brook. I know that's terrible to say. Obviously Zach, my main man, Zach Valentine, is like telling Cecilia that no, I think my wife is a liability at this point. She's saying she wants out because she didn't know things were gonna get as violent as they are, and he's spinning her story, allegedly. We have to say allegedly. And Zach claims that Cecilia was the one that gave the final orders, She was like the ringleader of it all. I'm quiet because it's... Are you that ridiculous? They make a plan. I don't know how to say it. They make a plan. They're gonna handle it. They're handling the situation. October 4th of 2012, Miranda and her daughter Marcel, who at this stage was at the tender age of 14, were given a house key and a gate remote to the Valentine's home. Miranda and her daughter proceed to go inside of the house, and in the morning Zach had given Michaela her coffee and he had popped some tranquilizers in there, so she was knocked out. Miranda proceeds to smash Michaela's skull in with a blunt object, and if that wasn't enough, she then goes in with a knife and stabs her several times. Zach had of course made this look like it was a home invasion, but we all know that the keys and the gate remote were given to Miranda and Marcel. Michaela died at the age of 25. I mean, that's really young. Now that the liability is out of the way, they can continue to do whatever it is that they are accomplishing to do. At this point, I don't know what it is. They slowly run out of money because Zach isn't working anymore, and he cashed in his life policy for his wife Michaela, and this is what they were currently working off. Well, what the group was currently working off. They killed associates of Ria Groenewald, they've killed a liability, and they do kill many more people, but I don't have enough time to sit down and tell you guys about it all. Just a quick reminder, we are still trying to work through a pandemic, so wear your face masks, sanitize your hands, and keep social distancing. I will see you next week for part 2 of the Krugersdorp killings on True Crime Tuesdays. But for now, guys, please stay safe, please stay vigilant, and I hope you have a great week. I'll see you next time.